So there have been some massive box office bombs recently, and now Christopher Nolan has entered the chat accompanied by a literal bomb for his new movie Oppenheimer. Can he save cinema once again? I think you already know the answer. What's up, guys? I'm Sully, and today I'm super excited because we finally get to talk about the new Christopher Nolan movie, Oppenheimer. All you need to know about this one is that the story goes like this. Oppenheimer tells the story of theoretical physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, who's among those credited as the father of the atomic bomb for his role in the Manhattan Project during the Second World War. So let's get this out of the way at the beginning. First and foremost, this is a Christopher Nolan film. So everything that you're expecting to get out of a Christopher Nolan film on a technical level, you're gonna get, and it's brilliant. The sound design, the color grading, the cinematography, the musical score, you name it. The way this movie looks and sounds is going to make filmmakers salivate until the credits roll. Just wait until you see the bomb detonation scene. You're going to want to call your parents during it and tell them you love them because you're worried there's a small chance the theater might actually blow up. That's how impressive that whole sequence is. Another thing that's impressive is that Christopher Nolan found a way to fit every actor you've ever heard of into this one single film. All the minor characters are somebody you know, I can promise you that. I mean, you have Josh Peck, Alex Wolff, and Jack Quaid scurrying around trying to hold in their excitement that they're in a Christopher Nolan movie. It's fantastic. But since this thing is so jam-packed with known actors, it's very obvious that the lead performances in here were going to be a massive strong suit. I mean, you've seen the cast for this one. The talent is insane. Cillian Murphy is obviously the glue that holds this whole thing together, and he does that job really well. He says just as much verbally as he does with his body language, and his performance mixed with Nolan's visual style does probably as good of a job as you could ask, showing us the infinite amount of emotions and revelations going through this complex character's head. Matt Damon does a really good job of basically playing Oppenheimer's handler for the majority of the movie. I really love seeing him in these supporting roles, and he brings a really nice sense of dry comic relief along with him to a film where you could basically cut the tension with a damn knife. Even though they don't have as much screen time in the movie as I was expecting, our leading ladies here, Emily Blunt and Florence Pugh, make the most of what they're given and leave a lasting impression. Even if I wanted to see more of them, they both have their time to shine and leave their mark on this film. But my God, Robert Downey Jr. absolutely stole the show for me here. Like, this is one of the best performances he's ever given in his entire career, and easily his best performance since his departure from the MCU. Sorry to all the Doolittle fans out there, but I think that if anyone is getting nominated for an Oscar in this cast, it's gotta be him. I couldn't take my eyes off him whenever he was on screen. Without giving anything away, his character has so much depth to him that just when you think you have him figured out, think again. This entire ensemble just works really well here. I mean, obviously, they're all definite A-listers, so we knew that they would, but seeing all of them navigate through a scene together is just a treat for the damn senses. Now, I will say, Oppenheimer definitely feels like a movie that's 3 hours long for me. I for sure felt the length of this one, but the manner in which it all wraps up within its conclusion, it definitely earns that runtime. When I think back on the events of the plot now, even though I thought it was a long movie, there's not really any one place where I think you could cut some corners and take some stuff out. There are a lot of events and conversations that needed to be explored to be able to tell this whole story to the absolute fullest. And with the angle Christopher Nolan is coming at it, you can't leave any stone unturned to give the audience the full picture. But I do think what we were given in the trailer was a little misleading when you look at the actual events portrayed in the movie. What starts out as a tried and true biopic formula ultimately transforms into a layered and fascinating courtroom drama by the time it hits the finish line. And I was definitely more engrossed by what it turned into than the former. Any interrogation, legal proceeding, or private conversation is what really had me on the edge of my seat more than anything else. And that's really where the story of this movie shines, in my opinion. All that being said, I think it might be the least rewatchable of Nolan's films for me. Even though I really enjoyed it and I think it's an achievement on a lot of levels, I'm not really dying to run out and see it again. I didn't have the same feeling in my chest or the goosebumps I had when the credits rolled in The Dark Knight or The Prestige or Interstellar. And some of the reason for that is obviously that this is just a very different movie for Nolan in the first place. It's really dialogue heavy, the action is to a minimum, and he meanders through the story at a slow but necessary pace. I do think it's important to go out and see this movie more than once because it's just such a dense character study and there are a lot of timely themes explored in there. but I'm not immediately booking my tickets for my second showing quite yet, I'll put it that way. Overall, guys, this is another very solid addition to Christopher Nolan's filmography. On a technical note, he's on the top of his game here as per usual. The sound design, the color grading, the cinematography, the musical score are all mesmerizing, and this is probably the best ensemble of actors you'll see together in a movie this year, with Robert Downey Jr. being the clear standout. On the flip side though, if you walk into this one expecting more of an Interstellar or Tenet type of film, you'll probably leave disappointed. It's much more of a biopic and courtroom drama more than anything else. But that being said, it's always refreshing to see what one of the remaining titans in this industry has been cooking up since we saw him last. And if you're a fan of the art of filmmaking, seeing a Christopher Nolan movie on the biggest and loudest screen possible will remind you why you fell in love with the theater experience to begin with. Oppenheimer gets a Sully score of 4 stars. So that's my review of the latest Christopher Nolan movie. What's your favorite film in his entire filmography? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.